Hi everyone, it's Kristen Creates. Thanks for being here. This is probably my first, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe my last long form YouTube video. If you know me or you're here, you're probably a friend. And so thanks for being here to support me. I'm Kristen Creates on Instagram, which is where I do most of my things, but this is New Year-ish. So I thought I'd try something new. And the first thing I wanted to do was the kind of reflecting on my fountain pen rabbit hole journey that I've been on for almost 2 years now, maybe a year and a half. And I thought I'd do that and play along with Simone 8 more pen questions. So here we go. Let's try it. So the first question is, do you have different uses for different pens? Most of the time, the answer is no, with 2 exceptions. I always have my blue 3776 inked up with platinum carbon black because it's important to me to always have a relatively fine, for me, black pen that I can use on anything and anywhere. And I love the sheen of a platinum carbon black, and I love the 3776. If you have a 3776 and you don't love it, I suggest you take it to a nib magician, because that's what happened to me, and I didn't understand what all the fuss about the 3776 was, because I'd bought mine secondhand, took it to Kirk Spear. He had it for about 30 seconds and did, whatever, cast a spell that he does. And now it is one of my favorite pens, and I write with it every day. The second type of pen I have is one of my flex pens that are always inked, because I do quite a bit of hand lettering, do quotes, and I just like what a flex nib gives. So these 2 are the last 2. So I have a Pilot Custom Heritage 912 and a custom 743, and then I also have a vintage Waterman from like the 1930s. These are the best, I think, that I've been able to try in the modern flex, but nothing flexes like this vintage guy. But this one's a pain in the ass. All right, so next question. How do you choose the pens and inks you will use next? Well, that's a tough question. Since I'm still kind of in my acquiring phase, usually there's some recency bias in this, and which pens have made it into the collection recently, because I never want to have a new pen that hasn't been inked and tested, let it go for like more than a month or so. So that's getting harder to do in some months and others when there's good deals. Then I also look at kind of what the theme or what time of year it is, or just which pens I haven't used in a while. So I do keep a spreadsheet of all of my pens and inks, and then which I played together, all in kind of an Airtable database, in addition to an analog ink journal. So what haven't I used, what's new, and just then what are some of my favorites. When it comes to ink, I don't care as much about the ink if I've had it for a while, because I have enough ink for my children and my grandchildren and your grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. So if you found me, please let's do an ink swap, or at least let me send you some ink, because I have a lot. But at the beginning of the year, I did sit down and map out 25 inks that I had received somehow in 2024. You'll see a lot of Inkmet ones, but these are the ones, that 25 inks that I definitely want to use this year. So that's the first thing that I look through, is if there's anything in this list that I'm particularly feeling or that would match the month. And then from there, I kind of make a pile of kind of what I call the maybe inks that I might want to use for the month, things that I'm feeling. I've also started this new trend only because I just happened to come across some really pretty fall inks in a recent swap. I don't know, I picked the colors, and I guess I was feeling fall. So I in the back of my ink journal, I've started this so that I can remember what I have that maybe I thought at some point might not work now, but might work in the fall. Although I don't always stick to that, because, for example, this pollen, is there a better name for a spring ink than pollen? I think not. So you may see that in April. So once I have kind of the contenders in and I have the pens, then I will map out like 3 inks for each pen that I might like, and see then which ones kind of work together. And from that, then I make my currently inked. So, yep, it's overkill. I get it. Go ahead and laugh at me. Next question. Which pen do you prefer for long writing sessions? I don't do a lot of long writing. I do have arthritis in my hands, which is one of the reasons, practical reasons, that I switched to fountain pens, because I can write with less pressure. But I think it kind of goes back to the 3776 and also an Esterbrook. There's something about that bounce and an Estie nib. I didn't get one out too. That kind of makes writing great. What is your favorite pen? This is tough. All-time favorite. For the last year, it's been these two. So this is the Sailor Every Rose Has Its Thorn in a medium. I got it at the Sailor Trunk Show at my local pen shop. Thank you, Meinigers. And they are a great art supply store. And once I found out that there were fountain pens, that kind of amped up my journey quite a bit. Love this one, super smooth. It's a Sailor. It's a limited edition. It's beautiful. It really changes color. So sometimes it looks gray, sometimes it looks purple. Just depends on the light. Like I said, I'm a flex nib fiend, and this is just 912. I recently got the 743, but this 912 with an ebonite feed is better. So, question number 5. If you had to choose which nib size, what would it be? I'm a medium girl most of the time, and I just think that that's a good balance between thick and thin, and it can work with it in my planners and in my journals all of the time. But I'm not opposed to a fine. My first fountain pen was an extra fine because I was coming from the kind of Energel G2 land. It's hard for me to imagine extra fine, but maybe I'll go back to that, and yeah, all that. Favorite nib grind is a Kirkspear Cursic Smooth Italic, again, for lettering. I currently have it on a nib in my TWSBI Persian Green, and it's just really pretty. I haven't inked it up in a while, though. Don't be surprised if you see this in April, too. Okay. If I could only have one ink for the rest of my life, okay, back. If I can only have one ink for the rest of my life, this is not a hard question for me. First love, maybe not first love, first obsession, will always have in my stash as long as I can get a hold of it, is Jacques Aurin Emeraude de Chivor. My French is horrible. It is the most beautiful teal, turquoise green with a beautiful shimmer in it. So if you have never seen it before, let's just do a little bit of this right here. Boop. We'll do the spoon swish because that's what I'm loving right now. Thanks, Julia. Okay, maybe by the time I answer the other questions, that will be dry. I didn't get a good shimmer one. Okay, number 8. What is an absolute deal breaker for you in a pen and an ink? Okay, 2 things for pens. 1, pens that claim to be a flex pen and are absolutely not. And I'm talking about this guy right here. This is called a Conklin OmniFlex. It has no flex to it. Even fakes you out because it's got these little cuts. You think it flexes? It does not flex. So if you ever see this pen, as long as you don't expect it to be flex, it's a pretty good pen. But if you buy it thinking it's going to be a flex, you will be sad. So pen makers, don't call stuff things that you good and know that they're not. Number 2, pens that always hard start, need primers. I don't know if I have lemon labbies, because I know people love the Safari and the All-Star, but for me, I have to prime this every single time. I've tried with 3 different inks. None of them were shimmers. I don't understand. My husband fell in love with a Army Green All-Star, the sage green one. Same thing, although if he's not the most nice fountain pen user, so who knows. But anyway, hard starts are no go for me. Ink, really have not met a deal breaker with ink. My deal breakers are companies that don't support the causes that I do, that make questionable practices. So that's kind of, I won't buy one particular ink and got rid of them for that. Otherwise, if it's too dry or not saturated, those are kind of the other things that are deal breakers for me in terms of ink. One more, I hate basic bitch blue. So, yep, I've never liked blue ink in a pen, which is funny. I love turquoise, I love teal, I love blurples, but just a basic blue is not for me. So I know people are super excited about Konpeki. I don't understand. If it's blue, maybe if it has a sheen or a shimmer, I might get into it. But okay, the bonus question. What is one pen that you think everyone should have? And I thought about this for a long time. And my answer is a Pilot, the best Pilot that you can afford wherever you are in life. So if that's a GT, that's been my love for a long time before I got into fountain pens, great. Maybe you're ready for the Pilot Varsity, first disposable pen, great. Maybe you're ready for the Pilot Kakuno. That's the, kind of next level, or the Prera. So the Pilot Prera is kind of not quite the beginning level, but up there. This is mine. I have two. My husband actually thought he was doing something great and reached out and bought it directly from Japan and paid express shipping to get it here by Christmas. Yeah, if you're a fountain pen person, you can do the math on that one. So it's pretty special just to even have the Japanese tags. So, those are your under $50. I forgot. Or maybe you need a fun parallel with these big old nibs. Wait, let's do maybe you're gonna, break into your Gothic calligraphy and you need a giant 6.0. Who knows? Then, there's lots of options in the Pilot. So I have these two, 912, 743. I know the 823. These are the same pen. One is a piston filler and one is a vac filler. I almost put vac filler on the pen because vac fillers to me are so hard to clean. So they're super fun to load, have a lot, but I don't know if I can handle it. So, and then, if you have thousands of dollars, please adopt me and then, send me a Namiki. But anyway, I think everybody should have a Pilot, whatever Pilot makes them happy. So thanks so much for joining me. Those are my 8 pen questions, and thanks to everybody who's done this video because it's really inspired me. And now that it's dry, you can see this beautiful Emerald of Chabert. It looks like it's really blue on camera, but it is teal in person, and then you can see some of the sheen and glitter or shimmer, I hope. All right, so all the 8 pen questions, I've filled out my sheet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. And maybe if people actually watch it or give me comments or likes, I'll do another one someday. And if I do, tell me what you'd love to see. Thanks, everyone.